Well, the idea that customers come together and talk to each other is really exciting, right? And they love hearing from us for sure, right? And can hear new things, but talking to each other and finding out, hey, this is how this worked for me. This is how this worked. That's why customers come. They come to go and basically share ideas, and it's a very creative process. Let's start with the first one, right? The idea of how do you manage this increasingly diverse distributed environment? And that's where Nutanix Central is launched. And Nutanix Central is now a global way to go and view all of your distributed sites, including edge, cloud, and your data center, multi-site data centers. And so Nutanix Central is a great way to have that central monitoring. And within that, we're announcing some new capabilities around performance, especially for database applications. Now, for the second announcement that we have, we're moving up the stack a little bit into the data and application services. And now you start thinking about, well, how do we go and get more applications, newer applications, even containerized applications? Here we're introducing Nutanix Data Services for Kubernetes. Now, Kubernetes is the new standard for how you move applications across the hybrid multi-cloud environment, and is a standard. And so we're helping you get all the traditional data services you'd expect for VMs, now for stateful containers. It's a great way to take new applications, bring them into your Nutanix portfolio. So the third thing is, for the first time, we're making a distinction between product announcements and a project announcement. Project Beacon is the idea that for the very first time, you're able to go and decouple data and application services from the underlying infrastructure. That's always been a problem, right? Because lock-in, right, or switching costs are tough when you start thinking about where does an application live. So we're showing this with our new NDB as a service demo, which shows how you can go and take database services and now run them natively on hyperscaler infrastructure. It's a great way for us to go and show that the data services you're familiar with from Nutanix can now run beyond where HCI runs. Well, this comes about, like, what does it mean to have a platform and to buy in a platform? And think about investing in a platform for the next 5 years. One of the things we've realized through COVID and supply chain shocks and geopolitical issues and raising interest rates is, it's an unpredictable world. And so how do you get the degrees of freedom you're most likely to need? This platform now says, hey, I've got the management I can have for wherever I land. I have the data services for newer applications. And now with Project Beacon, I have the idea that I could go and run those data services wherever I want over time. And that's a really interesting way to think about investment protection, investing for the future.
NDK, right? Nutanix Data Services for Kubernetes, to me is the most exciting one, because it's kind of paving the way for the next, 5-10 years of this company. If you kind of look back at where we came from as a company, we changed the game in terms of how you deal with data for virtual machines. And we use software to virtualize everything and allow you and VM admins to go and basically get self-service for a lot of these operations. With NDK, we're doing the same thing now for developers on Kubernetes and modern applications. And really just bring the power of what we built over the last 10 years directly into Kubernetes. So developers can go and actually get access to all of this functionality directly, natively, from their Kubernetes APIs. Talking about business value, the whole question here, and this is something we've been seeing as an evolution over the last 3 years, is, 3 years ago, customers were talking of going cloud first. They all tried and went, and they all found places where it's actually not that easy to go directly in public cloud. And so everybody is now reevaluating, okay, what's the right way to go to public cloud? How do I think about this application versus that application? And we're now seeing a model that we refer to as being cloud smart. Right? So a lot of what we do here is customers thinking, look, I have to go build an application, but eventually I need to be able to go and move it between public clouds, maybe from public cloud back to on-premises, or from on-premises to a public cloud. And so the whole business value here is making these migrations easier. Actually, in some cases, making them possible. Right? And having the right software stack is what allows you to go and actually look ahead and plan for the fact that it's actually very hard to go plan for the future. The way we're doing this is giving customers one place to get all these things done. I think the other thing that we're very different from the rest of the market is we look at applications and their data consistently. And you hear us talk a lot about data services, but the whole idea here is, look, your apps will be running in VMs or in containers, but what makes an app valuable is its data. And so we want to go and look at the two together holistically and give solutions to customers to go to one place to manage those applications and their data and be able to go and protect them and potentially relocate them between the edge, your data centers, and a public cloud environment.